What up, y'all? This is ASTRODIM'S here. Hey. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get my Bed and Astrology off the ground, I had so many questions. Like, how do I record an episode? How do I find background music? How do I get my show on popular podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? Where do I find advertisers? Because, I want to get paid for all the hard work I do. Talking is a lot. It's a lot of energy, okay? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. Yes. The cool thing about, Anchor FM, honestly, is that you can record anywhere at any time just by using your phone. You download the app. They have amazing engineering through the app where you can record and have, honestly, some decent ass recordings from just your phone. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm honestly shocked about how high quality my podcasts are because I was like, this is coming from my phone. Are you sure? But the cool thing about it is everything is done on the app. You know what I mean? And so once I'm done recording and once I finally make the established connections with the distributors, as soon as I'm done, it goes immediately to those distributors so people such as my audience or new folks can listen. It's just so dope. You don't have to do that much but to create the episodes, create the work, and everything's done for you after that. It's absolutely amazing. It lets the artist truly be the artist. It lets the creative be truly the creative. And that's what I really, really like, So if you always wanted to start your podcast like me, because I always wanted to start my podcast, but I just didn't know where to go. And I did so much research and I finally heard about Anchor. And it literally just fulfilled all my needs, So if you're like me, you want to start your podcast, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. And there's a lot of folks using it. There's amazing podcasts there. And I know your podcast would be amazing too. So go ahead and just join us. Join the kid. Join the cool team. You know what I mean? Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. And holla at me when you got that started, okay? All right, y'all. Peace. Hey, what up, y'all? I'm back, bitches. Hi, guys. This is ASTRODIM'S here, starting my moon horoscopes again. Yes, I is. On Valentine's Day. Hello. Happy Valentine's Day, y'all. I'm not one of those single people who get jealous of people who enjoy their Valentine's Day, saying you should treat some person the same way every day. Of course you need to, but hey, holidays, right? So why not celebrate a holiday, motherfucker? You celebrate other holidays. Celebrate your birthday. Why not have an extra extravagant birthday, or not birthday, holiday, representing love, to express that love even more than usual? Because come on, let's be real. You don't give red flowers to the person that you love every day, nor do you cook them a nice meal, nor you take them out every day. Okay, so just use this time, stop being annoying, and if you have someone to love on, whether it's romantic or platonic, do it. Okay, anywho, let's do this moon horoscope. Shout out to my single people on Valentine's Day. Don't hate, just enjoy. Just be cool. Buy yourself some chocolates tomorrow. Because on the low, okay? But let's talk about what's going on emotionally for us. Okay? I like to do moon horoscopes in which I talk about the moon, how it's moving, certain aspects it's making, blah, blah, blah. And I base the moon off of 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S., okay? But, the thing is, this energy is going to be at that spot no matter, during that day, no matter where you are in the world. So, I forgot what I was about to say because I got interrupted. But what basically I'm trying to say is, I focus on the moon, the aspects it's making, and how it's going to be affecting us. And the moon represents our emotions, our privacy, our home life, and stuff like that. And, the rest of these planets can affect that and change our day. So let's actually go talk about how the moon is looking and how it's going to be moving on Valentine's Day, so you can prepare for it, okay? The moon's at 12 o'clock p.m. is going to be at 17 degrees Gemini. But it's going to move over. That's the second decade of Gemini, but it's going to move over to the third decade of Gemini at the end of the day. So, I'm going to talk about both decades and to let you know how it's going to be. So the first half of the day, right, is going to be in the second decade of Gemini. And the second decade of Gemini is, of course, all of Gemini is ruled by Mercury, but it's also ruled by Venus, okay, which is dope because Venus represents our desires in love and relationships, as well as desires of material things and getting the things that we desire, when it comes to the tangible things in life, as well as how we find ourselves desirable. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's very Valentine's Day, okay? It really is, especially on the relationship front, because, the second decade of Gemini is ruled by the Librian side of Venus instead of the Taurus side of Venus, the Taurian side of Venus, okay? And so it's really focused on like relationships. So it's a nice moon to have. This talks of like us like speaking and communicating with each other in a nice way, in a way that is soft and good. It kind of doesn't really promote arguments that much, which is cool. Where you're relating with people well, and you're relating with whoever you're relating to or need to relate to well. Conversations are going smoothly in general, and you're being more open into learning a little bit more about the person, because it is Gemini moon, and Gemini's all about the details, you know what I mean? And so we're learning about the details, we're relating with each other well, conversations are going good, and it's just at ease, okay? So it's a nice energy to have. Now when it's the second half of the day, it's going to be at the third decade of Gemini, right? It's going to be the third decade of Gemini in the first half of the 15th as well. So it's good to listen up on this too. The third decade of Gemini, of course, ruled by Mercury, but co-ruled by Uranus. And so, or people like to say Uranus, okay? So with it being co-ruled by Uranus or Uranus or however you want to say it, we're learning more about the details of people via communication, but we're learning a little bit more about their quirks, their uniqueness, their individuality, what makes them different, right? If you want to relate with someone well, on Valentine's Day, it's good to do it during the first half of the day. But if you want to kind of be in bigger groups to enjoy the person, to explore people's uniqueness and individuality, doing things for people that's like especially for them because they like this specific thing, that type of stuff, is great to do it at like the nighttime of Valentine's Day. I think that'll be very sweet and very helpful. Now, of course, I'm talking about this side of the world. The other side of the world, it may be a little bit different. Maybe at nighttime you should focus more on the relating one-on-one with people because of the time differences, okay? So definitely keep that in mind. But for the folks that are on my side of the world, right, definitely consider that, what I'm saying, okay? But it's a cool placement to have because Emotionally, we want to learn a little bit more about the people's quirks and uniqueness. And it's seen in like during this progression, you can see our emotional needs of learning more about our partner on a one-on-one level, kind of softening up to them and being so open that in the later part of the day, we kind of want to know about their uniqueness, their quirks, their individuality. Certain, Uranus kind of represents random things popping up out of nowhere. So maybe random conversations are going to come out of nowhere where you learn something deep about somebody. Geminis are really good at prying at information, using your charm and using your great communication skills. You know what I mean? And so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Okay. Now let's go over some different aspects that could be happening. But just generally, just know that, you're gonna want to learn more about people or your partner or anyone that you're interested in, crush wise, whatever, platonic, romantic, whatever, right? But you're gonna want this reciprocated too. But the thing that's funny about it is that you're gonna want it reciprocated probably tomorrow or the weekend, because Gemini wants to know about you but don't really want to open up about themselves. You know what I mean? They like to learn about people because it's like a learning process to them. You get what I'm saying? All right, so let's actually talk about some of these aspects that Geminis make into these other planets. Okay, sorry, not Gemini, the moon. All right, the moon is going to be opposite Jupiter. Jupiter is in Sagittarius, of course. And so with this time, ever since Jupiter went into Sagittarius, we've been noticing that through discovery and through being adventurous and through exploring, we've been finding so much and getting so much knowledge about just how different people move and how we can benefit from it, how other people's experiences and philosophies and concepts can help give us some good ideas, better ways of living, good fortune, a better understanding of life in general, right? But emotionally, during Valentine's Day, we actually don't want to explore. We want to do what's comfortable with us, which makes sense. This is a day of love. We want to do and focus on what's comfortable with us, what we're used to, and want to kind of get connected to familiarity. Gemini is all about, learning the most out of what you came from, instead of like Sagittarius, which is all about learning through self, through exploring and learning through it's kind of like escapism a little bit, like learning through just jumping into another way of living. Gemini's like, wait, let me just stay where I'm at and learn through that. And so this is why it's actually a really good time for couples for Valentine's Day, because you do have this urge to explore, but in general, but deep down inside, emotionally, what you really want to do is kind of go with what's familiar to you, and what's familiar to you is your partner, your crush, the person that's been there for a while that you want to get to know a little bit deeper. You know what I mean? And so this is actually a really good moon to have, a really nice placement to have during Valentine's Day. A tricky thing, though, is that Jupiter is in the second decan, towards the end, but still the second decan of Sagittarius, right? Is going to move into technically the third decan tomorrow. Now, let me actually get the time of that, just so you guys can stay hip. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that y'all are good or whatever. Just looking through to see what time. What time is going to actually hit 20 degrees Sagittarius? Why is this not moving? Sorry, y'all. This is annoying. This is so annoying. I hate. So I use Planet Watcher. Shout out to Planet Watcher, but sometimes you're fucking annoying. Sometimes when a bitch just wants to get the freaking... Okay, so actually, for my later coast folks, so I'm talking about like West Coast and Hawaii, it's gonna be moving to shit. Okay, but that's something I need to talk about. Actually, Jupiter is going to be in the third decan of Sagittarius in the daytime. At night, actually, daytime over there though, but at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that's when it's going to be moving over. So that's really interesting. So we need to talk about that too. So, one thing I find interesting about that is that, the third, I feel like the people like in like Africa, Europe, Asia may have a hard time expressing their love in the sexual way. It may not be too difficult, but there's going to be maybe a mishap or annoyance because again, you have this urge to explore, but deep down inside you want to do what's familiar to you. Emotionally you want that, and so there's this kind of like expectation versus what you really want, and I think this might be miscommunication between you and a lover. Now this could happen on this side of the earth too, if you guys do Valentine's Day stuff during the day. Okay, now when Jupiter actually moves in the third decan of Sagittarius, that's ruled by the sun. The sun is all about like casual fun, casual sex, enjoying yourself, like fun romantic love, right? But the thing is, still Jupiter and the moon are opposite, and so you're gonna want to like have this urge to explore because it's fun, because you want things to be romantic, but at the same time you kind of want to stick to what you're used to. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Gemini is all about variety and different thoughts and different ways, but how to do things, but it's not as explorative as Sag. So the Gemini will be like, well, I did this move and that move before, or I've seen this move and that move before, while Sag is like, hey, let's research something and try this. Sag is on a more Kama Sutra type of vibe than anything, you know what I mean? If Kama Sutra is not something that you're used to, you get what I'm saying? And so that could be the mishap. But like the thing is, both of those decans are very sexually charged for Jupiter. So it's something to really think about, okay? This is going way longer than I expected, but hey, it's Valentine's Day, it's special. Let's go on and move to the next aspect. Now, during the afternoon, again, with Moon in Gemini, one thing about Moon in Gemini, too, is that emotionally, you're kind of processing how you feel in a logical type of way, right? To try to find, like, why do I feel this way? So I can definitely see, like, you rethinking, or not even rethinking, but reviewing your emotions in a logical way on why you love someone, why you're not focused on love, why you feel a certain way at this time during this Valentine's Day while love's being thrown in your face, or just other things too, you know what I mean? If you really are not caring about what's happening on Valentine's Day, that's for sure. But the thing is, though, is that you could be having a distraction too, because with Saturn, in conjunct the moon and being in Capricorn, what's happening is you're thinking about also not so much the why you feel the way you feel, but hey, shit gotta get done in order for me to get this status, this reputation, this recognition that I want. And so, the air that you're feeling, the energy that you're picking up is, I have to be practical and do this because it needs to be done, because I want this end goal. But you're still inside of figuring out, why do I want this end goal? You know what I mean? You're reviewing these emotions. And also, why do I want, like, other things in life? It's beyond just career and everything. Like, you could be working at a relationship status when you're reviewing on why do I want this, and so you're kind of second guessing yourself. You may have been feeling that you're moving in autopilot while Saturn's in Capricorn during that whole time since December 2017. But now you're thinking like, okay, let me reel this in. Why the fuck? And so like in conjunctions are funny because if they're not the same modality, not the same element, nor not the same season, so they don't get each other. So you're wondering and trying to figure out, why am I moving on autopilot? Why do I want this responsibility? Why I want this specific status, whether it's romantic, whether in the home, career, whatever. And so again, you're feeling these things and trying to process them logically to figure out the why. So it's really interesting. But you could be doing this romantically too. Again, I want to reiterate that since it is Valentine's Day. So think about that. Status is not just career. Status is any type of status. Relationship status, of course, career status, home, your status within the home, all that shit. Okay. All right. What's super duper cute is that the moon is going to be trining the sun, during the whole entire day. So it's really, really cute, right? And so you're going to be totally agreeing with how you feel, and you're going to be expressing it as such, but slightly different. So again, you're going to be all about like processing your emotions, understanding the whys, kind of going through the details of your emotions, going through the details of why you're feeling this way, processing it, understanding it, and then like how you're going to be expressing it is through your uniqueness and individuality. Maybe even doing little tests. Sometimes people say Aquarius do tests. I've seen it. I ain't gonna front. But doing tests and kind of throwing things out of nowhere to kind of see how the person will react. How are you gonna react? Trying to prove your point that you've been processing and thinking through. I can definitely see that. But I can also see you again, thinking things through, processing things through, and then trying to express how you feel by trying something new, by being innovative, by doing something different, because you're thinking things through, and you realizing that you kind of need a spark, an edge, something different, something to shake things up and make it a little bit fun. But you're agreeing with it, and the energy's flowing well, and it's going cool. But the thing that is going well, and you're expressing yourself well. But again, with this moon being opposite Jupiter, I feel like, it's tricky. You and your partner is open to expressing yourself, but deep down inside there's something in you saying like, I don't want to go that far. You know what I mean? I don't want to be too different. I don't want to do anything too foreign. And so you guys have to kind of level out, like, okay, we want to do something a little bit different, but not too different. Not something that's going to potentially fuck up the whole entire day. You get what I'm saying? And so it's really it's an interesting energy for sure. Lastly, what I see here is that the moon is going to be square during the entire day to Neptune, because the moon has a 10-degree orb, unlike the other planets, because it's a luminary, okay, and it's very close to us. And so this is a little bit tricky because, again, this could cause major disillusionment when it comes to how we feel and how we are idolizing and romanticizing certain situations or people, and it totally disagreeing with reality and how things really are and how we're feeling about it. Because this is a square, what I really see is you projecting and other people projecting onto you. But projecting not so much in a good way, not so much in the moon trine Neptune or the moon conjunct Neptune, but more on the square side. Of course, it's a square in which you're projecting negativity onto somebody or something or some situation, and it's not good. And it could be caused because, again, moon's in Gemini. You're overthinking, you're thinking too much, you're trying to figure out the why, and then you're thinking you have the answer, because of course that Neptune's coming through, and you're projecting onto people. So be careful to not do that. Be careful to actually don't think things through. Just be today, okay? Just be and express how you feel. Don't you, of course, with tact. Don't be rude, but also just be. And be careful of the overthinking, because I think you're gonna think yourself into a situation in which you're not gonna agree with tomorrow, and you're gonna be like projecting onto other people, and it's just not gonna be a good look. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a good look. Our feelings could be hurt because you could be totally wrong. This is Moon square Neptune. These are very intuitive energies, and with them squaring, you're wrong. Okay? Intuition's not good right now. You don't get it. You're not getting it. And especially towards the nighttime, right? You could be really fucking shit up at night. And because the moon is going to be also squaring Chiron, like eventually, after it's not squaring Neptune anymore, it's going to be squaring Chiron. And, that's when your emotional insecurities about your self-undoing is going to really come in strong. You're going to be having disillusionments about that and projecting with that. And it's just, honestly, just be careful, okay? Be careful. I won't even say think things through. I feel like just be, and just remember that, this is all love. Everything's love, literally, just like the album, okay? So please be careful. But I'll talk a little bit more about the moon squaring Chiron, also the moon sextiling Uranus tomorrow for the 15th, okay, when I talk about the 15th horoscope, because that's when the moon's going to be like exact that energy, and the energy is going to be really strong on the 15th, okay? So again, happy Valentine's Day. I'm recording this on Galentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day too. And I hope you guys enjoy. Don't fuck up your Valentine's Day off of you being confused about some shit. And just again, express how you feel with tact. That's what I tell you. Express how you feel with tact. Make sure you express yourself in the right way. Be careful with projecting, all that, okay? All right, y'all. Much love. And I hope you guys are happy that I'm doing this again. I'm really excited, okay? All right, loves. Peace.